Welcome to the episode 43 of the podcast From Stress to Success Blueprint with your host, Lolita. And those who've been listening in every single day because I've been putting an episode every day. Probably noticed that yesterday there was no episode. So I want to talk about something that I don't think we're doing enough is giving yourself a break. And I'm talking not about that you need to give yourself a break of just stop doing something, but giving yourself a slack. You know, so many times we go on a diet, on some sort of sign up for gym membership. We give ourselves goals and those tasks and to-do list and all the stuff that we need to do in order to succeed, especially in the environment where we feel like if we're not going to do something, we're going to be judged or we're going to be looked at as somebody doesn't keep the word. And also has to do a lot with trust. It's like, well, if I'm not going to do this, then I cannot trust myself because I'm supposed to be successful and I'm supposed to be there and I'm going to do this every single day. But I say, we cannot bulldoze ourselves into success. And the reason I didn't do an episode yesterday, it was because I was traveling and I just couldn't bring myself up to do anything because I came back and just went to sleep. So ask yourself now, is there something in your life right now that you give yourself a break of not doing something and then you're giving yourself a hard time for not doing that? And if you find the situation, then give yourself a break. Really, seriously, have compassion towards yourself. Ask yourself, if you didn't do something and you're the only person that sees that that was not done, and you still were super hard on yourself, let that go. You have to take care of yourself. Give yourself a slack. Oh my gosh, for God's sakes. And if you're having a hard time with this, it might be that you grew up in an environment where you formed a belief and a pattern that if you're not going to perform well, you will be punished or you will be unloved, unseen, hence excluded from the group. And our brain loves safety and security. So you will be afraid to be expelled from the group because hence you die. You know, this is not the first time that I do something for a long time and then one day happens and I giving myself a hard time. And it happened to me the same. Before I did this episode, I was like, oh, I had this amazing time of just putting on one episode every single day, and now I just couldn't deliver it. And the first, few moments, I had this disappointment in myself, like, oh, I couldn't believe it, and I mean, how can I do this? And then I realized one thing, um, who's really putting up uh, that plan for me to do it? Who's that person? It's me. So I can adjust the rules. I can adjust the schedule the way I want it to. I Nobody's really watching. Nobody's gonna punish me for that. And when I realized that, I gave myself a break. I'm like, you know what? I cannot really do this, and I'm not gonna do those episodes. I'm gonna do it when I can, which is right now. So I want to know if you're watching this on YouTube, leave me a comment and tell me, is there a situation that you recently gave yourself a break? Just give yourself a slack. Like, come on, I did very well. Now I'm okay if I'm gonna take a break or I'm not gonna do something. And instead, really celebrate your own accomplishments and your victories because that's the most important part. Because if you do a whole month amazingly something and you do it on time and you're proud of yourself, and then one day you don't do it and you're giving yourself a hard time, this means this is how you grew up. Your parents working against you. That means something is causing you fear if you're not going to do it. So ask yourself, why is that you giving yourself a hard time for not doing it? Or, slipping up, um, dropping off the wagon or whatever that is. Because really, just ask yourself, is it a really big deal? Is it that you just didn't do it? Is this a big deal? Probably not. If nobody died and you didn't die and you will not die, because trust me, you can start doing that tomorrow and be proud of yourself again. Because the ultimate self love is when you honor your own needs and you are there for yourself. Do not talk like a parent who's disappointed with the child now with yourself, because that's what you learn. How your parents were talking to you, this is how you talk to yourself. So have more compassion to yourself to say, you know what, that's okay. You didn't do it today, we'll do it tomorrow. So leave me a comment below. And if you're watching this on YouTube and if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And see you in the next episode. Well, I'm not going to say see you tomorrow like I used to say because tomorrow may not happen, isn't it? So, see you in the next episode.